All right, we are live. For anybody that's jumping on, we'll wait around for everybody to get started. What's up,
Hello.
Malik?
How
Or is
you
it
doing?
Malik?
That's Malik.
Cool. Nice to meet you, buddy.
How you doing?
Doing
Nice to
well.
meet you too. Where you from?
I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. So
I can't hear you.
you can hear me?
Oh, Greenville.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Cool. Where are you calling from?
Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Fayetteville, very nice. Where do you go to school?
Fayetteville State University.
Cool.
How about yourself?
I go to Furman University. It's a liberal arts college about
Okay.
7 miles north of downtown Greenville.
Very nice. How you enjoying it?
It's going well. It's different. It was down to Furman and Stanford, and Furman is a liberal arts college of 2,700, and Stanford, of course, is totally not that size. And there's an adjustment at first, freshman year, just reconciling with the fact that, it's predominantly white and upper middle class, and Stanford had a lot of great diversity. I think the second year, I'm in the middle of my sophomore year right now. It's been great just to put both feet in and really, accept the decision and kind of run with it. And yeah, Furman's great. How about you?
Um, Fayetteville State's a good school. But right now with the program I'm gonna be transferring to another school to finish up my engineering degrees. I'm gonna transfer to NC State. Hey, Ennis, how you
Hey,
doing, buddy?
how's it going?
Alrighty.
Hey, man.
So, Ben,
Yep.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Where are you calling from?
Nashville,
Okay. Where do you go to school?
Tennessee Tech University, down Cookeville, Tennessee.
Yeah, cool.
How about you?
I go to Furman in Greenville, South Carolina. So it's a liberal arts college of about 2,700.
I looked at your major and it said human-centered design. What is that exactly?
Yeah, so it's essentially approaching social systems, or systems that folks interact with in society through the lens of design. So really looking at how to look at policy design, look at planning different programs, yeah, from a design perspective.
Okay. I mean, is that in a sense the study of utopia?
It's designing, I guess, the architecture of society in a way that it makes sense
Most
to people.
beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. Wow.
What are you studying?
Chemical engineering.
Cool.
Yeah. Trying to get into solar energy.
Very nice. Joseph and Malik, what are you guys studying?
Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm again Joseph Shelton. I'm from
Okay.
North Carolina Agricultural. I go to North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm originally from Virginia, though, right outside of Richmond. If anyone's familiar with it.
Yeah.
Richmond.
I'm up in Virginia a lot. Not too much about Richmond. Usually on the coast, North Coast. Uh, but I'm in sometimes visiting family.
Cool. Alrighty, guys. Natalia should be joining us here shortly, and then we'll get started. Does anybody want to take notes?
Definitely Natalia.
Hey,
Hello.
Oh, Natalia, I volunteered you to take notes.
To take notes? No, I like it how we did it last time where everybody took their own notes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just write down your response, too.
That's
Can
a
we
good
do that?
plan. Yeah. Solid.
Okay.
Who wants to be moderator when they talk?
I'll go ahead and do it.
Solid.
Alright.
Alrighty, you want to get started?
Let's start with you, Ben.
My thing. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so identify 2 favorite off-campus resources for each one state that supports innovation and entrepreneurship. Wow. In South Carolina, we don't really have, that many resources that are open to folks outside the bounds of a university that foster innovation and entrepreneurship, or at least targeted towards college kids. We've got a lot of tech accelerators, a lot of different groups that are meeting and talking about entrepreneurship across the state, primarily in Charleston and in Greenville, and some stuff going on in Columbia. But again, those aren't really targeted towards college-age students. We also have, tech programs or entrepreneurship programs through the MBA departments at Clemson University and the University of South Carolina, and again at the College of Charleston, down in Charleston. But those are very insular, so none of it is really an open resource, for folks across the state. This Thursday, I'm having a conversation with the Director of Innovation for the state to talk about creating a cross-institutional institute that would really pull together all the different resources and assets at our universities to create something that is more open to just knowledge sharing and research at the state level around entrepreneurship. But yeah, we got a lot of work to do. What about you guys?
Well, I'll speak for Greensboro, North Carolina. I actually can't give too much input to this first problem. One of our biggest issues is that there's barely any type of resources on campus or off campus that really support entrepreneurship and innovation. If I had to list any kind of source at all, there are services on campus that support if you're trying to get anything patented, and along with the route of the patent office, they'll give advice about maybe making your product available, but that's the only type of support in that realm. Can you all hear me okay, or are there difficulties?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
I got you.
All right, who's next?
I'll go ahead and speak for Tennessee.
Okay.
Who's that? Malik? My bad. Anyways, so we have one organization off campus that called the Biz Foundry, and it literally, you go in there, and if you're trying to make a small business or you have a small business, you can get advice, kind of like a counseling area. And I'm not sure if it's for adults. It's probably just for campus, and it's very integrated with the business school, but as far as engineering and other majors go, it's something that they don't really visit, but they could visit. They could easily go in there and just talk about how they have this idea and how they don't know the steps to get it from that idea into something more tangible. And so there's a place for that, to just go and get advice. An upcoming innovation or entrepreneurship, I'm trying to do this one thing where there's a TEDx event in Nashville every year. So they're having TEDx Nashville, and we're trying to organize a campus, basically a field trip, to go see TEDx in Nashville this upcoming March. And for the final question, where is it? I really don't know how nearby UI Fellows. This is something we'll have to see once we all get to know each other and pass the program. I mean, besides giving connections to the deans and administrators at their various schools and giving each other information on what their school is doing, there's not much else. Really, just information sharing is the best we can do. we're helping each other. All right.
I guess I'm Or Malik, you haven't gone. Do you want to
Yeah.
go? Or?
Yeah, I can go ahead.
Okay. Sorry.
The city I'm in it's a very very large military town. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Fort Bragg. The school doesn't have much opportunities or resources for when you're ready to start your own business. Um, but as far as like some students and some people that took initiative are there's a cybersecurity and cyber defense academy here at the Fayetteville State University, which they deal with not only, of course, cybersecurity, but they also deal with forming those networks. This is actually how I became a UI fellow through that program, but they deal with creating those networks for. They have connections from economic, from the government to there's places like Microsoft and Intel, from providing um, financial support. It's something that it's probably one of the leading components on this campus that really supports the students. Mainly, it's in the STEM fields, but they support people as say economics, say business. If you have your own ventures or ideas, your own ventures and ideas. One other thing is we have an economics and finance club on campus, which they reach out not only to students at Fayetteville State, they do some reaching out to people in the city themselves. Um, Again, that provides some support for if you want to have your own idea of going about your own venture and whatnot. But unfortunately, overall, it's pretty divided. Um, but it's pretty divided, but it's something that students still have access to. Let me go ahead and answer the second question also.
Sure.
Um, well, my favorite innovation in entrepreneurship event actually just passed this past Thursday was an open house for Cybersecurity Academy where we had NC Senator, a couple of generals and whatnot come to the school and basically form those networks because forming this academy was a big step for the school and innovation. As far as entrepreneurship, we had a few entrepreneurs. We had a few businessmen, which overall provided. It was an open house for the cybersecurity academy, but it was still an event that gave those networks for if you want to pursue other things such as you have an idea for an event, or you have an idea for something you would want to go on about doing.
Cool.
Okay. So for off-campus resources, it's actually something I haven't used, but I know other people have used it, and I want to use it at some point. And I think it's actually all over North Carolina for those of us who are in North Carolina, but it's the NC Small Business Technology Development Center, and I think they do a lot with giving free advice. They're state funded, so they don't look for money other ways. And I know a lot of people have gotten help through them. And there's one location that's on NC State campus, but then also, and then also, I'm going to say, also HQ is a co-working space that's in Raleigh, and they help with hosting different entrepreneurial events that are open to the community and have helped a lot, at least in Raleigh, developing the entrepreneurial community. Oh, but then also, too, about the Small Business and Technology Development Center. I think there's other locations all over North Carolina for those, too. I'm not sure what all of them are, but there are definitely a couple more of them than just the one at NC State. There's, as far as, I'm just going to go answer the other two quickly. My favorite upcoming innovation entrepreneurship event. I think that the eGames, which is our startup competition, is really exciting because it gets a lot of students engaged because there's money on the line that they can win and everything. So it's one of the things that has a lot of student involvement. So that was for my favorite upcoming. That's not till April though. It's still a little, or end of April. It's still a little while away. But creatively support the movement on one another's campuses. For the last question, I guess like when it's close, you can do more like combined events and that sort of thing, and then just sharing ideas of what something that worked well on your campus, that sort of thing. So I know like with at least with Malik with Fayetteville State, there is already a connection between Fayetteville State University and NC State. So I don't know, it seems like it's a lot engineering focused, but we could work to expand that to the entrepreneurship side as well. So.
Yeah. Just a quick note on that. There's a retreat weekend coming up in March through the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Foundation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Sullivan Foundation, but it's been around for, I want to say, 10, 20 years now. It used to be focused on community service, and it's taken a shift towards social entrepreneurship, but really just entrepreneurship in general. And there's another kid in the Fellows group that actually participated with me in the Sullivan Foundation through the retreat weekends. But I think that would be a great way for us all just to get together first. And again, I can post the link after I fish it out here in the group chat or on the document, just so we have access to it. But,
yeah, why don't you just put it on the document, like in the creatively support the movement, that section.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
And I think too, just creating a compiled list or compiled online source of all the different regional assets and resources that we know of or have found would be helpful. Not only for our own states and schools and institutions, but just to share with other entrepreneurs that might not be in college. You know, I know there's tons of folks that are moving around the Southeast, you know, be it from Atlanta to Charlotte or Nashville or to Greenville. And when folks go to a new city, you know, you need like a toolkit almost to access all the different assets and resources that are available locally. So it might be something for us to get into here.
Yeah, it's like an online shared account with all your links and database resources. Yeah,
we could just create like a Google Doc maybe to start. Like,
yeah.
Put resources in that.
In terms of events and things like that, I actually have to jet off here in a bit to go to a startup weekend pitch. I'm pitching on a team at 5 o'clock, so it's kind of pushing it. But
there's gotta do it all.
Yeah, there's a lot of great activity around startups and accelerators and stuff, but there's a disconnect between students and these groups. I put on the notes just that universities don't really know how to handle external or third-party entrepreneurial events. So it's like, how do we develop a pipeline between these events or these co-working spaces and the universities? Something for us to think about.
Okay.
Okay, we have 3 more minutes. I was like, okay. I forgot what time we were supposed to go back.
We have how long? 3 more minutes?
Yeah, I think we're supposed to be back at 3:30.
Well, right? We all spoke. I think we have...
Yeah, did anybody else want to add to the second and third question? I'm not sure if everybody answered that.
I'll say something about the second question, upcoming or favorite events. We actually, at NCA&T, we just had an event, E-Week or Engineers Week.
Yes.
That just passed. I'm sure every university has some variation of E-Week. A bunch of different companies will come down focused on engineering. They have different activities for different days. Maybe companies focused on energy, maybe outreach to high schools, et cetera, et cetera. I was wondering, it'd be cool if we could have a week focused on, I guess, startup companies. I mean, when I hear entrepreneurship, I think people who kind of start from the bottom, get a group of friends together. So that kind of ties into Group 3 as well, because I'm sure universities, I guess, are kind of the starting ground for a lot of startup companies. Different researchers or students who just have the spark get together, and that's kind of how small companies are started. So maybe different universities in the UI's Fellows Program find students who are actually interested in starting up their own companies, and maybe we just kind of form a collaboration among universities like that.
Yeah. Well, it's Greensboro is so close, but it still seems kind of far because it's not part of the Triangle. Because I was going to say, like, we have in the fall there's Triangle Entrepreneurship Week, And NC State participates that in a little bit, but it's really like a whole community event. And I think we like host an event on NC State's campus that's geared towards that. But I think more collaboration between like Raleigh and Greensboro, because it's not that much farther away than Durham. I feel like there's a decent amount between, like with RTP, like there's a lot of Raleigh-Durham stuff going on, and like even Chapel Hill. But like Greensboro is pretty close too, so doing more.
And I think, too, just a final note here, or if anybody else has something to add, definitely. But we have such a culture of community and social awareness, or an inclination to be generous in the South, I feel like. And I really feel like there's you know what I mean? I feel like there's a huge opportunity to create a movement across our states of social entrepreneurship. I know there's a lot of great stuff happening around social ventures in Nashville, but really trying to capture this energy in a documentary or a website or whatever, and then share it with folks in the region, I think would be something that's helpful, just so that it can be a regional conversation rather than just a statewide conversation.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. There's a lot of people that when they think like startups, they immediately go towards like money making and sort of like just all about money. But really, most of these have a sort of non-profit agenda kind of backing them, and so you could more easily get people excited about saying, hey, startups can impact your society in a very positive way, rather than just going, hey, startups can give you money.
I feel like that's like the Silicon Valley perspective on it, But actually, that's kind of what I like about the entrepreneurial community here, like at least in my area, is that it's more seems to be about the ideas and like the genuine like process, as opposed to like what's the quickest way we can make money. So that's nice.
Speaking of Nashville, at the end of March is at the National Society for Black Engineers. No, we don't have to do black with them. But there's a national convention at the end of March. It's an excellent opportunity. It has almost all of the big name companies, but they also have different workshops specifically for entrepreneurship, specifically for gaining those networks and knowing what to do. So in addition to attending a national convention, it has workshops as one of the largest career fairs of the year. It has one of the largest graduate school fairs, and it has something that has from deans and chancellors to some CEOs and entrepreneurs to come and do workshops and speak. So that's another event it's at the end of March. If you're interested in looking more about that.
Nice.
Okay, maybe we should head back.
Oh yeah.
No.
All right. Thanks everyone.
Yeah, great to meet you guys.
There.
Yeah.